Linda, Montana, and I'm going to be talking with Keith Andrew, who's a wonderful man. He's so nice, and he asked me to be on his show so he can ask me a bunch of questions, talk about the pictures on my website, and just have a good time.
Commercial break. I'm your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Linda. We are doing a part 2 interview. And it's great to see you again. How have you been?
Oh, pretty good. Thank you very much. Great to see you too.
No, the honor's all mine. Now, the first subject we're going to talk about is icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Icebreakers?
Yes, icebreakers. That's the subject where you just tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm a working actress. I was a dancer, ballet, tap, and jazz for 35 years, working in musicals on stage. I am a singer. I studied old Italian opera to learn how to sing correctly, to sing in musicals on stage, which I certainly did a lot of. And I'm a trick roper, which I learned from my father, Monty Montana, when I was a kid, and worked rodeos and fairs for, 20 odd years. And I had a break in between working because my mother had Alzheimer's and I took care of her at home, which was not an easy task. That disease takes two people. It's the person who has it and the caregiver who has to be there for 24/7. I fed her, gave her a bath, did the laundry, cleaning, cooking, did her business, everything. And my life had to be on hold. So that was a very difficult period in my life. But my mother took care of me when I was a little baby. And I'm sure that wasn't too easy. So it just payback time. And I loved her dearly.
Well, I send my condolences. No one should ever go through that. What was the expression? Well, it's a stupid expression, but it's kind of like yes, the mothers in any life are very important to us. But what is it they say when you're born, you wear diapers, and when you pass away, you go back to diapers. It's kind of like comes full circle. And I'm not making a bad pun out of it. It's just
No, it's true.
life
Your
is
body goes
terrifying.
down on you. It does. It's just, I didn't mean that literally, but I guess it's figurative. But, things start going wrong. And I am a senior and my knees have hurt and I've been getting stem cells in them, which is not cheap, but it works and it helps because I need to be mobile. I can't just lay around all day.
No, I agree with you. My mom has bad knees and she refuses, she does not want to have knee replacements, but you don't have to do knee replacements anymore. Like I said, you have stem cells and you have gel that you can inject into your knees. That's the good thing about technology. It's because we don't have to do the old ways.
Well, the stem cells are expensive, but after you get it done, you go home and lay down and lollygag for a couple of weeks to let everything knit. Because it has to. It's, like growing a baby in your belly. You don't just, and then it shoots out. It takes 9 months for it to, make itself. So that's what you have to do, let the stem cells work. And it's really good. I've had several injections because, I used my knees a lot dancing and riding horses. So, yeah, I'm much better off now.
It's funny you should mention that because I'm just looking at your profile. You grew up in Northbridge, California, and your father taught you how to do trick ropes and ride horses.
Yes, that was fun. I loved all that. And we worked all the top shows, Denver Stock Show, Pendleton Roundup, Calgary Stampede, all over the country. for years, good 20 years. Rode in the Tournament of Roses parade. I rode in it for 20 years. I have a picture of me with my mother, father, and brother, and then Roy Rogers and Dale Evans on either side of us on their horses before we all went to our various locations in the parade. I was 7, I think. So I've done this my whole life in one form or another.
He does it does. I have it on. Usually every season's different. I usually have index cards where I write the questions or I read it. I'm starting to read it from the phone. So if I have like a brain fart, I do apologize. But that's the other thing I want to talk to you about. Is that you were a season regular on your father's TV show. And I
Yes.
believe that was called the Will Rogers Show, and you were only 7 years old.
No, it wasn't the Will Rogers show. It was, I think, Weber's Bread show or something or other. Daddy had it, and I was on, I was 6. When TV first started. Because I remember, because I'm old, I remember when television first came out. Because when I was real little, we traveled all around and all we had was radio. And then had this picture of an Indian on there, and I went, oh, it's amazing.
I was wondering what that picture was. I was like, what is the story about Indiana?
No, no, not Indiana, an Indian. With a chief with his
Oh,
headdress, that type of thing.
I didn't see that one. I saw another one called. You have like a big picture, like on a billboard of I'm gonna butcher the word of Indiana.
No, no, Montana. That was
Yeah,
on my
Montana. I
website.
do. I
On my
apologize.
website. I just liked it.
Yeah. But yes, I do want to make one correction. You're right. You were a season regular on your father's show at the age of 6,
Uh-huh.
and at the age of 7, you were on the Real Rogers story.
Yes, it was my first film that I did, and I doubled the girl who played Mary Rogers, Will Rogers Sr.'s daughter. And so I did a hippodrome stand along with the Eppers brothers, and they were kids too. And what you do is here's the saddle, and you stand up and put your feet in the straps, and you lean ahead, and the horse is running down the road there. And you hold on to the reins, of course. But that's what the 3 of us did, and said, "Hey, Grandpa, look at us," or something like that in the feature film. And my father doubled Will Rogers Jr., who played his father in the film.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was my first film.
And I know you hinted towards this, but I do want to go back to it. But I'm trying. I don't usually read from the phone. I usually have a card, but sometimes I try to be different. But it says you traveled to 2 different countries with your father, mother, and brother. What was
Mhm.
that experience like? And you are also included in the Calgary Stampede.
Yeah, we worked that rodeo, and I remember we worked on the track during the day, doing our act, and I had my own special little segment with my father. I did my cotton routine, and then I did a double routine with Daddy. And as I first came in, I spun a big loop around my horse. So that's how I in that. So then after that, Daddy would do horse catches, and I rode in several of them, and my mother rode in all of them, and she trick rode, and so did Daddy. And there was the night show as well. And a certain time with the music, Daddy was supposed to ride up a ramp and rear his horse and then ride off. So he was saying, "Okay, now, no, wait a minute," because there was a coda in the music, and so I'd cue him so he'd go and do it just at the right time. And then later on, we both went out and trick roped on stage. And during the rehearsals, I would try to do it according to the music, the tempo of the music. And I'd mess up my rope every time because I have to trick rope according to the atmosphere. If it's hot, your ropes are raggy. If it's cold, they get stiff. So I have to do it according to the atmosphere.
That
So
makes sense.
during the show, I thought, never mind trying to do it in tempo. I did it according to what I could do, and then I didn't mess up. So you learn those things by doing.
Now, this next picture, I don't know if
Mhm.
it's you or your mother, but it's a black and white picture. It is called Spinning the Wedding Ring.
It's probably me, because I was a roper. Mother wasn't much of a roper, but she could trick ride, and I couldn't do that other than hippodrome stand.
You were wearing a cowboy outfit, and without the hat, you're standing there and you're just spinning the thing. The picture will be on the screen, but it says spinning
Sorry,
the
I
wedding
can't see
ring
it.
from the last mermaid, like the last married couple in America.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that's at. I was hired as a dancer in the film, and but I had my Western outfit, and so I spun it around me, and I had on a jazzy little getup. It was
No, it looks a
totally
nice
cool.
outfit.
And I had some spiffy little straps and everything. And then during the show, besides that, uh, uh, the wonderful director, oh, if I can think of his name. Anyway, he gave me a close up and I was dancing away and I was thrilled at that. But in the, part of this show, he had me, there was a gentleman who was quite heavy and they had him on his hands and knees and they wanted me to sit on him. And he says, "Oh, please don't." So because I was an in shape dancer, thank God, I straddled him, but I was doing like a giant second over him. And so I didn't sit on him at all. I was just standing with my legs apart, close, real close. And then I had my rope around his neck, and then I had the end of it like I was popping him on the butt. So that was one scene.
I think this
But
picture's,
I didn't hurt him at all because I,
well, that's a
you
good
don't.
thing. I think this picture is really cute. The white horse with a brown face. I believe that's you wearing the white cowboy hat, and you're next to the guy who's wearing a flannel shirt and a white hat.
Well, I can't see the picture, so I'm sorry. I don't know what you're showing. Oh, oh, that's me. Yeah, when I was what, 2 or 3? That's Daddy, and that's in front of our place. In that was in Van Nuys, and the horse was Button.
Let me ask you,
And
there's two
I
pictures, and the one I just showed you, and there's this one. Is that the same picture?
probably looks like it.
It was only reversed. That's why I asked. It says Linda, Rex, and I'm gonna butcher the last one, Montana. Who was
Hmm.
Rex?
The horse.
Oh, perfect. I was wondering. Did
Now they all had names. I
he name
rode
them?
Danny the most, but I rode Button and I rode Bessie and Sam and Pepper. So we had a bunch of horses. In fact, we had 30 horses.
Did you ever get to name your own horses?
Oh, I got a pony when I was a kid and I named him Ranger.
That's a nice name. Now, the next
I had a
subject,
wonderful childhood. Just great. The adult part has been more difficult.
I agree. And don't worry, all these pictures will be on the screen as we're talking. And
Okay.
the last one I do want to, actually, last two we're going to talk about, then we can take a quick muzzle break. Let's talk about all the films and TV shows that you were part of, because there's a great list. The first one I want to talk about is The Last Marriage. What? I'm going to butcher this.
That's Married Couple in America. That was a
Thank you.
film.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, I spun my big loop around me when they went, dumped a bunch of, oh, that was Americathon. Excuse me, wrong show, wrong film. Last Married Couple in America, that's when I was a dancer. And I was sitting on that poor man and dancing away earlier in the scene.
There was another one called, I'm going to butcher this one. But second part of the name is Pennies from Heaven.
Yes, I was a dancer as well in that, but Danny Daniels cast me, bless his heart. He was a fabulous tap dancer, and I took class from him for, I think, 6 months, even though I'd been taking class from others like Stan Mason for years. So, anyway, I was chosen to do a certain thing, and it was all choreographed, ready to go. So, we went to show the director, Herbert Ross, and he said, "Oh, that's wonderful. You, dear, are a secretary. Come with me." Took me and put me in a completely different place and had me do something different. And I was, my part was I was supposed to memorize a certain section in this, um, oh, not a video, uh, thing about, they were singing something or other. So I thought, well, why don't I just learn the whole thing just in case? Thank God I did, because what I had trained to do and was ready to do is completely different. So then had me with my back to the camera, and Steve Martin, after he kissed the bank manager, he comes right up to me, and I just wheel around and sing doo 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 re dee doo. That's what it was. But if I hadn't memorized the whole thing, I'd have been up a creek. So, and then he trotted down the stairs. So that was my little bitty part in Pennies from Heaven.
What was?
And
Oh, go ahead.
there were 7 callbacks to that film. Herbert Ross wanted to see us time after time after time to make sure we were just the right people. So, okay. So I kept going down to 20th Century Fox for him to have a look.
No, you're absolutely right. Are you a Marvel fan?
What's
Do you
that
like do
again?
you like Marvel?
Marble?
Yeah, like X-Men, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. Are you into those superheroes?
Those are good, but I tend to look at other ones just, more like what I would be doing, because I'm certainly not a action figure like that. Or
No, the reason I bring it up is because you pick certain people to play the stars. As you mentioned, the guy kept calling you back, make sure you're the right person for the part. So, for an example, Tommy Maguire will always be Spider-Man to me. I don't think anyone else would have been perfect on the first one. Shia McBuff was great in Transformers. Sam Neill was great in Jurassic Park. So
Mhm.
was Jeff Goldblum. So certain people that you cast, like the Fantastic Four is Jessica Alba, and I'm gonna Chris Evans. Can't, after seeing the movie, and that's like 21 years ago, I can't imagine anyone else redoing the movie, but was a different cast because it kind of kills it for you. Because you have a handful of people, and if you try to remake it, like Suits, I'm a big fan of. They're actually available on the USA Network. If you have Apple TV, I would recommend watching Suits. You have Harvey Specter and Mike Ross, and
It's a good.
it's a great series. I would highly recommend it. But you have a certain group, 4 people that the show bases around, and they fit the part 100%. They tried to remake it, Suits LA, and well, Suits the pun, sunk faster than the Titanic because it was horrible. There was no story. It was rust, and it's kind of you have to pick the right group of people. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I agree.
Now, the next show I want to talk about, were you on the original Hawaii Five-O or were you on the new one that recently
The
came out?
remake, the new one, the remake.
Oh, with Grace Parks, right?
Yes.
What can you tell us about your experience on it?
Oh. Well, it was wonderful, let me tell you. They picked me up in a limousine, took me to the airport like I was the Queen of the May, and flew me first class, the first time I've ever flown first class, picked me up, then we had a wardrobe fitting in Hawaii, took me to the hotel, and then there was an event that night where they were having a bunch of people out on the beach area and a big party. And they were promoting Hawaii Five-O and then Magnum PI, the remake of that as well, the two shows that the same company was doing. And so I got to be amongst everybody, and it was really fun. And then I thought, well, I better go because I got a 5 o'clock call. So I had to leave, and it started sprinkling on us and everything. But I was in tall cotton, let me tell you. So then a friend of mine drove me there and picked me up because I didn't know where I was going. So then I got to bed, got up, and I was ready to go. And then for the next day. And so I went on the set and got all primed up and ready. And it would rain off and on there, which is amazing to me because, they don't quit. They just keep going when it rains on you. So it was just wonderful. And I got all excited and everything. And the gal who's on NCIS now, she was on it. Um, she's a beautiful
Don't feel bad. I
part.
don't know the name either.
Okay, well, pardon me. I hadn't planned on talking about this, so I forgot her name. Anyway, she was very nice to me on the set because I did a scene with her
One of my
and
favorite
other people. There's other people there too.
one of my favorite episodes was the crossover between. It's funny enough you should mention it. NCIS LA and Hawaii Five O, where they go
Mm-hmm.
into the mansion, and I can't think of her name. She's the woman from, you probably know who I'm talking about. If you anyone who ever seen the movie Kindergarten Cop, she's Hetty. She's the woman who played Hetty, and also in Kindergarten Cop, she was the principal, the
Mm-hmm.
short woman. And I remember her saying to Daniel, "You would be a great police officer if it wasn't for that mouth of yours." And he says, "So do you rent her, or does she come with the place?"
Yes, she's a fine actress.
No, absolutely. And the thing about crossovers too, you can have a lot of great crossovers and you can have a lot of crappy ones. But the point is that it has to be the certain cast of people. When Grace Parks left and when her cousin left and someone else left, I'm like, okay, no big deal. The show's been going on for 5, 6 years, a little longer than it's supposed to. When you do a show, you have to have a beginning, middle, and end. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of other shows go like Smallville, anyone who likes Superman, 10 years. So you have 5 good years and 5 years of like, what the hell am I watching? Or you have shows like Supernatural, who's been on for 15 years. But the point is, if you're funny and engaging, in last show I would recommend, and I'll pass it over to you, is Lucifer. The guy who played Lucifer, the devil, he was really good in that show. So it depends if you have four people that can carry the show and you can base it around them. But the problem is when they get up and leave, replacing them, it kind of becomes a challenge and it kind of takes away from the show, to be honest.
Yep.
But the next one on, actually, I actually interviewed two people from, well, thanks to you, I can add you to the list. I have interviewed people from Hawaii Five-O, the learning disability. When I don't do my interviews as late, my disability shows more. I have interviewed people from Hawaii Five-O, General Hospital, Young and the Restless. And
Yeah, I
so
worked on that. That was my first television show, my first soap opera. way back when.
What was your experience like?
Oh, it was great. I was the nurse who helped deliver uh, Trapper, Snapper, or something with his baby. And that was David Hasselhoff played the part way back when.
And the last one I want to actually want to talk to you about is you had a recalling role where you played Denise.
Yermley, the town diva on Parks and Recreation. Yeah. And I sang on the show. And bless Amy Poehler's heart, she liked what I did. And she wrote me in 2 more episodes. So I did 3. And the first one, when I first auditioned for it, it said a lady was auditioning to be one of the beauty pageant contestants. And I thought, at my age, competing with the 18, 20-year-olds, she's got to have a screw loose. So it was a singing role. So I said at the audition, I said, let me sing it 2 different ways. Okay. So I sang it really well the first time so they could hear that I know how to sing. Then I sang it as if I wanted to sing but couldn't do it. So I sang it lousy because like, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, I feel love, that type of thing. That was the second take. And so then afterwards, I went to see my agent and I said, I think I did really well, but I'm going to Prague tomorrow. You are? I said, yeah, but if I get it, I'll come back. You will? Yep. So I'm walking down the streets of Prague with my other friends that went on the trip, a whole bunch of us. My phone rings. Hello? Well, guess who's first choice? I said, I will book my flight tomorrow. So I did. I flew back to do it because I had to start my career again because I'd had all those years off taking care of my mother, and this was my chance to start again. So then we're chit-chatting with people on the set and all, and Amy found out that I did that, so she liked that. So
No, I take my hat off to you. You are a true inspiration.
well, if you want to work, you got to take advantage of the opportunities you get because they're few and far between. You audition, 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 and on occasion you get a job, unless you're lucky and get a series.
That's true. Well, let me ask you this so we can wrap talk off the air. With every single thing that you accomplish, it is gonna sound like an oxymoron because obviously you did shatter the glass ceiling. Do you personally feel like you shattered that glass ceiling and you accomplished every single thing that you set your mind out and your career out and did what you wanted?
I've done what I wanted. I haven't done everything I want to do. And I take class. I've studied and trained for decades, and I still do because the competition is stiff. And if you want to work, you got to be top notch. And I take voiceover classes because I do voiceovers as well, and animation classes. I take acting classes. I read for casting directors at other ed workshops. I do that all the time. So if you want to be good, you got to keep training. You got to keep at it. You can't just, well, I'm good enough. Never, because you get rusty. And, when you go in there, it's do it. It's not, well, what do you think about it's okay, rolling.
This is a full-time job for myself. I agree.
Mhm.
What made you say yes? How do you feel? And do you think charging $25 is okay?
Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. We all got to make a buck, and I could afford to do that, pay you for that. And I thank you for having me on your show. let other people see me. You know, it may lead to another job. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me clarify for 25 is in return, yes, you hire me for 25, but in return, you get a professional interview. You're going to get an article. You're going to get a recommendation. It's going to be shared on popular websites. So it's good exposure. So pretty much you're hiring me to help you get more exposure, the quick, well,
Of
well.
course. Of course.
But
It's everybody kind of working together, helping each other out.
no, I agree. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. This will be aired this Monday, 8 a.m., but it will be shared on all social medias. You will definitely get notified when it's up and ready. Our goal is to reach 500 views. And once we do that, we definitely do a part 3. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.